under God. And while the city cannot endorse any particular religion, we respect the religious freedom and freedom of expression of all our citizens to pray as they feel led to pray. This evening's invocation will be given by Pastor Rob Swart of South Coast Church International.
Thank you. And let's please rise for the invocation. Afterwards, stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Councilmember Schwartz.
Lord Jesus, thank you so much for this great city and this great nation. We just want to honor you tonight by asking for your wisdom, asking for your grace. And God, I want to pray for this city, from the least of us to the greatest of us, that we would walk in your righteousness, walk in your ways, because you bless righteousness. And I just pray for wisdom for these proceedings, for the city council. Thank you for them and being at the helm of this city. I just pray your grace and your blessing and your wisdom on them, and that we would truly be a city that reaches our full potential. In Jesus' name, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Donchak. Here. Councilmember Swartz.
Here.
Councilmember Ward.
Here.
Mayor Brown.
Here.
And Mayor Pro Tem Ham is absent. First item is a presentation by Samantha Thomas, Recreation Manager, concerning the commemorative map for San Clemente Day.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm just so excited to be here. It is with great honor and great pleasure that I get to present to you guys tonight the official 90th anniversary agenda, celebrating on February 24th, 2018, San Clemente Day, our 90th anniversary. I'm going to run through kind of a brief highlight of what we're doing, and then I have some special guests behind me that are also going to speak. So this year's celebration will occur on February 24th, and I'm going to hand you guys out a postcard with the agenda and a pen and a ticket and our maps as well. So in your packets, as I said, there's a map. There's a couple different items. You'll see, and we do have postcards available on the back table before you leave tonight for the audience. From 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., we have a free youth fishing derby going on at our municipal pier. It's for ages 6 to 15 years old. Again, it's completely free, and it is available to the first 90 kids that sign up, and pre-registration is required. We've been able to grab some great sponsors to help us fund a t-shirt. All of the bait and tackle will be provided. There's a lot of fun things going on at that end. And during that same time frame down at the beach, Marine Safety Headquarters will be open, and they will have kind of a historical tour of what the San Clemente lifeguards have done for many, many years in town. So you'll be able to see several different displays and all kinds of fun stuff over there. And then at 12 o'clock, we will transition to the Ole Hansen Beach Club, where the big day will kind of commence until 6 p.m. 12 o'clock will kick off our fried chicken luncheon. We will also have free recreation swim. There will be synchronized swimming performances. There will be a horse derby out on the lawn. If you don't know, we have a big history of horses here in town, actually, and you can learn more about that at San Clemente Day. We will also have a historical exhibit provided by the San Clemente Historical Society. We'll have food trucks. We will have music going on. It'll just be a really fun time for families to come out and enjoy the beach club. And then we will have a free ice cream social and birthday cake at 3 p.m. That will be a birthday cake cutting, and cake and ice cream for everyone. And we were lucky enough to get ice cream donated by Baskin-Robbins, so we're very appreciative of that. And then on top of all these festivities, we've had the honor of commissioning a map to be put together to commemorate this incredible day. And we were able to work with the San Clemente Art Association and find this outstanding artist, Ruth Uhas. She's here. Ruth's over here. And I do want to unveil it tonight. It's kind of a big deal. It's been a lot of effort. And this map, the concept of it was to be historical and really focus on the historical side of town. And you'll see if you, in your packets that it highlights kind of our big features. The trolley will also be running that day, and it will be doing a kind of a different route. It will hit on 4 different historical stops, and there will be tour guides on that trolley to kind of give you some insight and history, and people can come and go as they please on and off the trolley. So with no further ado, I'm going to unveil the map. There's our map, and I will do it here as well. So as you can see, it's a beautiful map. It has a lot of incredible elements on it. I think it truly speaks to San Clemente. All of these maps have been printed, and on the back side there is a historical walking map, and these are all going to be free to the public. We'll have them all day long. They'll be at all of our facilities throughout the year. We'll get them printed as needed, but definitely on those events on San Clemente Day, they will be available. And that historical walking map was a collaboration with the Historical Society as well. It's a pretty good route. I don't know if you can do it in one day. There's a lot of hills up and down. So on top of all that, if you've missed Saturday, February 24th, we are extremely excited to celebrate on February 28th, which is our actual birthday. We're going to celebrate on the municipal golf course, and we are pleased to offer 90% off green fees. So if you're not a golfer, that is about $3 for a round of golf. So incredible deals for all of our golfers in town. It is for residents only. And then Dave Cook has been kind enough to offer out free range balls for the day. So if you just want to try out golfing, Wednesday, February 28th is the day to do it. And now, without further ado, I have the privilege of introducing this wonderful gentleman right here. Some of you may know him. He is our founder, Ole Hansen, and he is going to give a little bit of a pitch for our wonderful day.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, my name is Ole Hansen. 90 years ago, I had a vision of a place where people could live together more pleasantly than any other place in America. I was going to build a beautiful city on the ocean where the whole city would be a park. The architecture would be all of one type, and homes would be built on lots where nearly everyone would have their view preserved forever. The vision was very clear to me. I saw hundreds of white-walled homes with red tile roofs, with palm trees and flowers lining the drive. I saw sidewalks of red Spanish tile and streets curving picturesquely over the land. I wanted plazas, I wanted parks, I wanted a community pool, a community social center, a golf course. I wanted a pier, a fishing pier, and I wanted a beach, enlivened with the people getting a healthy joy out of life. Now that I have returned, I see that my vision has been fulfilled. And I would like to invite you and everyone here to join me on February 24th to celebrate the 90th anniversary of the incorporation of my vision, the city of San Clemente, the Spanish village by the sea. I hope to see you all there.
Again, we are excited to celebrate with the community and with this council, and we look forward to seeing you all. You will see our commemorative magazine is going to hit homes this weekend. It's a very special edition. It's got incredible historical photos on the cover, again, courtesy of the Historical Society, and look forward to that coming probably Friday or Saturday to your homes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Samantha. This is a very exciting time for our city, and knocked it out of the park. This is really cool. Thank you. And we got to meet Ole Hansen. He looks good. He looks very good.
Somebody
You
did
know,
that one.
have to put me in touch with his plastic surgeon.
I thought he had an accent. I didn't realize he didn't have an
Yeah,
accent.
no, he looks amazing. So that was great. Thank you so much. It was really amazing.
Okay. Next item is the toll road update, and I have one speaker card.
Great. Prior to the update, Mark McGuire.
Prior to the update, I didn't know that, but Mark McGuire, resident of San Clemente, here for 3 minutes on the toll road. I haven't been able to be here for a few weeks, so I'm happy to be here and welcome Mayor Brown as mayor. I haven't been here since then. What I wanted to focus my short period of time on was, I don't know if people are aware yet, but apparently the TCA is going to propose an additional alternative to the alternatives that they've been looking at. It's in the agenda for the meeting coming up on Thursday. Apparently, they're going to reveal it to their ad hoc executive committee the day before. And I don't know, there's no notice of that meeting and how you would attend that. But in any event, Thursday, we'll hear about what this additional alternative is. They characterize it as one that's trying to be responsive to stakeholder concerns but still promote mobility. So this is my guess of what it's going to be. I could be wrong, but I think they're going to propose a partial alternative that will end at La Pata, north of town. And we need to be very careful about that. That's the key takeaway that I would ask folks to think about tonight, is that a partial alternative may sound great. Great, it's not coming through town, it's not connecting to the 5 at Pico, it's not adding 4 lanes down the middle of the 5 from Palizada to Barcelona. But it would still be a potential problem, because if it's a partial connection, if it's a partial toll road, the toll road could be connected in the future. And so I guess what I would say about that alternative is that I'm not surprised that they would look at that, because they've had to look at partial alternatives every time that they've done environmental documentation. And in fact, the last time one of the partial alternatives was found to be adequate and refuted the need to connect to the 5 at Trestles. So I'm not surprised that they would look at partial alternatives, but what I would say is, at this point, we don't need a partial alternative that is a toll road, because we already have a road that's going to Cow Camp as a free arterial, and all we have to do is complete that 2 3/4 mile or 3 mile additional connection of that arterial to La Pata, and we've got an arterial connection that's free and is just as good as this alternative that I suspect they're going to present on Thursday. So anyway, I've got 28 seconds left, but I look forward to the presentation tonight.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Staff has nothing else to add tonight.
Okay, I don't have a card, sir. Did you?
Mr. Mayor, I did hand one in.
What's your name, sir?
Hirschman, Josh Hirschman.
This is for the toll road question?
It's on the toll road, Your Honor, or Your Honor, Mr. Mayor.
The lawyer in you is coming out. By sitting there.
You didn't say what item.
I'm sorry,
So,
I apologize.
Mr. Hirschman, Josh Hirschman.
Yes.
That's fine. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, council members, I've been before you before, and I'm here again as a representative of the reserve, in all the reserves, north, south, east, and west, to thank you all for everything you do for us with maintaining the suits that are going, and maintaining your suit that's going on as we are maintaining our suit. I would like to present you with, all members, thank you, with a proposed tollway Bill of Rights that we'd like to see. We know that sometimes you get asked by someone from Sacramento, a state representative or state senator, if they have any ideas of what San Clemente would like. If we go through, I'm not going to sit and read these to bore any people here, but my number one is publishing their fees and tolls, which they don't do. What really irks me is when I see, as I'm going up to a toll, and unfortunately I still use the tollway once in a while, when I'm going up to a toll, they post a website. And you say, well, if I were to get Chief Peters here, Chief Peters would say, don't text and drive. That would be the first thing he'd say. But yet the tollway's begging us to text or to basically go online to find out how much the toll is going to cost us. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely But anyway, so these Bill of Rights, if somebody from Sacramento approaches you, there's some ideas. I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Hirschman.
The next item is the San Clemente High School presentation. But the students contacted my office this morning and said they're unable to come, and reschedule them for next meeting.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. Yes. And just so the public,
Next meeting.
the public is aware, we don't have a public update regarding the toll road tonight. We have that as a recurring agenda item because we do not want to have it ever not be in front of us. But tonight, we don't have anything that is, I guess, to be discussed in public. Okay.
Members of the audience who wish to address council on matters that are within the jurisdiction of the City of San Clemente but not separately listed on the agenda may do so during the oral communications portion of the meeting. A total time limitation of 30 minutes is allocated for oral communications part 1, with each speaker being allotted 3 minutes in which to give their presentation. And I do have a few cards.
Thank you. We'll commence with Sandra Weaver. Following Sandra Weaver is John Kopp. Hi, Ms. Weaver.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Sandra Weaver, and I'm afraid I have some very disturbing news for you. There's been a murder over at the Cabrillo Playhouse. Actually, 2, or was it 1? It was also confusing, and there was so much running around. You see, there was this playwright, and he was dry. He didn't have an idea for another play. He didn't know what to do, and so one of his students came up with a really good play, and he thought maybe he'd steal it. But would he really kill? Would he really kill to get that script? Well, you'll have to come and see for yourself. Death Trap is playing now at the Cabrillo Playhouse, and this is the final weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 8, and Sunday at 2. However, Sunday is sold out. Tickets are just $20. Oh, but wait, there's more. There's more. Next week is Valentine's Day, Wednesday, and the Cabrillo Playhouse is the place to bring your Valentine. You'll start out with champagne and chocolates on our beautiful patio, and then a wonderful concert of love songs featuring local singers from Orange County singing songs of love from Broadway to pop, romantic, serious, funny, silly, and all about love and life. And tickets are $40 for that event. But one more thing. From the grave to the stage, we're bringing back Ben Franklin, returning for an encore performance. A one-man show, The Wit and Wisdom of Benjamin Franklin. And that's Sunday, the 18th of February at 2 p.m., one performance only. So there's a lot going on here at the Cabrillo Playhouse in February, something for everyone. You can find out more at our website, www.cabrilloplayhouse.org, or call us on the phone, 949-492-0465. But whatever you do, come on down and enjoy one of our events this February.
Thank you, Ms. Weaver. Next is John Kopp. Following John is Marty Garf.
I'm John Kopp. I'm a resident of San Clemente, and I made a short video, if you don't mind watching. We lost some beautiful artwork at the end of last month in the city.
I saw that.
It was a mural. Just showing you here that Dana Point is also displaying some beautiful artwork here. And this is the mural. Through some miscommunication, it was painted over. I just noticed that the beach has a blank wall. Wouldn't this be something?
Yeah, it's just an idea. I put it on Facebook, got all kinds of positive response from the citizens, and this is from the artist. The original mural was a privately funded project, but if we could gather enough patrons to want to support more artwork like it, I know the community would be better off. I will try and make it to the city council meeting, however, she's a mom, and her evenings are tied up, but she will definitely tune in, so Andy, hello. That's it.
Lori, you want to say?
Do you have an estimate on what it would cost in terms of materials and the artist's time if the surface was prepped and just waiting for?
I don't. We've communicated. She's pretty excited about doing this, actually. And like I say, this other project was privately funded, and maybe there could be a mixed funding, you know.
But you don't know if it's $2,000 or $50,000?
I don't. I have, you know, Photoshop on my computer. I started playing around one night with doing that picture, and I went, wow, that turned out pretty nice. And so I put it up on Facebook, and wow, we got over 200 people saying they love it.
So, John, actually, I think they're planning on a mural at the North Beach concession stand, and I think it's going to be a variation on this map that was created here. And so, I'm not sure what it is, but I'm going to pass this on to Samantha, who was here earlier. Is Samantha still here? She probably left, I would assume. But I'm going to pass this on because if, you know, we need to have, if there's a conversation we had, if this would be a stronger option than the map, or what would be, the most appropriate thing there, we should certainly have her weighing on this. But I love the idea. Oh, there she is. Oh, hey, there it is. Wonderful. If you wouldn't mind, I would have Samantha chat a little bit about what we have planned for North Beach, if that would be okay. Okay,
Thank you.
great.
But I think it'll dress up that building, too. You know, that's just a blank white wall.
Question I've got, you're talking about the same, where we had our character counts?
I believe so.
Painted over?
Yeah.
So
Very
That was
sensitive
repaired.
subject for Steve.
Yeah, we know it's
I
still
want to see
sad.
character counts
So
back.
we do have a public art program, and that's why the mayor's saying we were looking at putting another mural there. So
without-
maybe she would be the one to
Yeah,
talk to.
without getting too much into, it's not an agenda item, so why don't we just do a quick informational item from her, and then you two can connect.
Okay.
After this, if you wouldn't mind, Samantha, just chatting a little bit about what the plans are for that area.
Okay. Well,
Thank you, John. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for listening.
Good evening, Council. Samantha Thomas, Recreation Manager. So we do have a formal mural process in place now that came to this council last year. And North Beach is certainly a priority spot. We've had a couple groups that are interested. We're not currently seeking groups right now calling for artwork, but we have been in contact with the high school folks looking at the character counts mural. But we are certainly open to any artists coming to us and looking at that location as a priority, because I know that is a bare wall that needs to be filled as well. So we're happy to, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying that.
You
for me.
bet.
Thanks, John. It was a great idea. Martin Garf and Brett Bartlett.
Mayor, City Council, we're grateful to be here and present an idea to you. We are volunteers. Brett is the grandson of John Paint the Pier LeSueur, and I am Martin Garf, and we're both volunteers for an organization called Just Serve. And Just Serve is a link both on your phone as a app and as a website for volunteers to find opportunities to serve in the community. Sometimes that's pretty difficult, and we've made it very easy by posting these opportunities. They're all vetted, they're safe, and they're appropriate for all kinds of volunteers throughout the community. If you go to the website Just Serve, you will see that it's easy to find a project, to become a volunteer, and to improve the community. The video, which we don't have time to show there, is Why Communities Adopt JustServe.org, and that's the mayor of Marietta saying what a great tool it was to build the community through volunteer help. The other video that you see there, Just Serve Introduction, shows some of the volunteers in various capacities. So if you'll go on their website, it's JustServe.org, and Brett, who uses this?
So this is for the entire community to use, and it's really to
give anyone an easier chance to serve within your community. There's organizations that we work with in communities, and we try to find anybody who wants to basically provide service opportunities. So within San Clemente, we're already working with FAM and San Clemente Village are a couple of examples of people who post opportunities to come serve. And so you'll find there will be a posting here that'll pop up with different opportunities to serve. And so anybody can go on and find some sort of opportunity to serve, something that they're comfortable with, that they love. And so we're just trying to provide an opportunity for people in the community to find a way to serve, and the high school. So the high school students need service hours to be able to graduate. So this is one way that they'd be able to do that.
So we're grateful to be able to present this. We were coming here for two reasons. The first reason is to give you the information about justserve.org, and the second reason is to see if it might be incorporated in the very active website of San Clemente, so that people could see on how to offer volunteer service, and just put our link, in the website link, into the website of San Clemente. So we're making that offer and a proposal, and we're thankful for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Marty. If you wouldn't mind, I'll get you on the calendar with James, and I could chat a little bit about what you would envision for that.
Thanks.
All right, great. Thank you. Final card we have is from Lori Bowles. Are there any other cards, any other folks that wanted to speak during this time? Okay, great. Hi, Lori.
Hi. Thanks for listening. I've reached out to the city and left messages with the city manager, and all of you city council people. I've been in contact with the Coastal Commission about the gates that are locked now in front of the bathrooms. They should be open at sunrise, not past 8 or 8:30. Oh, sure. T Street bathroom near the snack stand mainly. Do you know how many people walk, surf, et cetera, at dawn at T Street? There are surf classes from schools, yet the gates are locked. I saw a trash can and a wet cement in front of the men's bathroom a few days ago, and I've been walking early mornings for years. And I did read that the reason why you have closed the restrooms is you said you want to keep homeless people out of the bathrooms. But I, along with many other residents over the years, have never seen homeless people in the bathrooms, especially at 6 a.m. Look again at the tourists, the beach trains, the holidays when the bathrooms are disgusting. And then I have heard that only one person has the responsibility to open the bathroom. So if they're starting down at North Beach, it doesn't make any sense. It's been the last month, 8:30 in the morning, all the bathrooms are still locked, and they really should be open. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Lori, if you wouldn't mind, James, if you wouldn't mind getting the card, I'd just like to get an answer as to what the timeliness is and how that process works. If you're looking for an answer, I'd like to make sure that you get that. Okay, great.
Okay, could we have a motion to waive reading in full of all resolutions and ordinances?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Short, second by Ward. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0.
Closed session report, city attorney.
No reportable action was taken in closed session.
All items listed on the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion without discussion unless council staff or the public request removal of an item for separate discussion and action. I have not received any requests for removal.
Steve is good. Lori, anything? Kathy, anything? I only have H to pull.
Move the balance.
I'll second that.
Motion by Donchak, second by Ward. All those in favor? Aye. Passes 4-0. Item H. There is really nothing here. This is mainly more of a recognition item. I would like to first thank the Heritage of San Clemente, Councilman Eggleston, former Mayor Eggleston, excuse me, for assisting with this. What we had is the 2-4, our adopted battalion, is going to be deployed coming up in a few months, and so they had wanted to do a softball tournament. And so they had the different units that each fielded teams. I actually played a few games with the Space Jam unit. They found a sale at Walmart on the shirts, and so that's how they picked the name. And I contributed at least a solid 9 or 10 grounder outs before I retired with all my glory into the Softball Hall of Fame. But I just wanted to thank there were a few people. So first of all, Wayne, and then the folks, I'm going to mess the name up. We had the folks who opened up the snack bar. Samantha, Greenbergs. Yes, the Greenbergs. Thank you so much. Opened up the snack bar and provided for all of the military for free food and drink and be able to enjoy the evening. And it was just a great great morning and afternoon for them to come and enjoy. And we're just very grateful for our adopted battalion and all those Marines who came and were able to play.
I think one of the reasons they wanted to have this, it was a team building exercise for them before they are deployed. And
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful that they wanted to do that in San Clemente.
Yeah, no, it was great, and I think they're going to try it again. I think that's the word. But they did want a San Clemente team, and so Sheriff's Department, we had some sheriffs and firefighters show up, but we couldn't get a full team because it was really short notice. Next time we'll have a full team, and we'll represent and be able to establish yourself. As a side note, I was actually so successful in picking a team that they won after I left. So I don't know if it was because I left or because I buoyed them for the first few games.
So they want a San Clemente team of old people that they want to then play against.
They want to just beat the crap out of it,
Okay.
basically, right? So it was a tremendous event. I just would like to thank the city, the Heritage, the Parks and Recs Department, and the Greenbergs for making that all happen. And especially,
we got a great thank you from their commander, too.
yeah, oh no, they're great, yeah. And thanks to the 2-4 for serving us so faithfully as a fighting unit. So with that, I'll move the item.
Second.
Motion by Brown, second by Schwartz. All those in favor? Aye. Aye, passes 4-0.
The public hearing process includes a staff presentation, a presentation by the applicant not to exceed 10 minutes, and public testimony not to exceed 3 minutes per speaker. Following closure of the public hearing, the City Council will respond to questions raised during the hearing, discuss the issues, and act upon the matter by motion. This evening's public hearing is a code amendment concerning density bonuses and other incentives for affordable housing projects and senior citizen housing developments in accordance with prior state law.
Should I wait for the mayor?
As the short-time Mayor Pro Tem, I'll say go ahead.
Well, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. My name's Amy Stonich. I have a presentation available for density bonus if you'd like. Great. Very good. So the density bonus law is a requirement of state planning and zoning law. It provides incentives and waivers to housing developments that include affordable units. The zoning code amendment will incorporate 6 assembly bills for compliance with state law. The proposed amendments will include an extension for affordability terms. It will update definitions and provide additional incentives as is consistent with the new requirements. Ultimately, the timely update to the city's code will ensure that the city meets state mandates and implements housing element objectives. With that, staff recommends that the City Council introduce an ordinance for first reading to amend this zoning code as it pertains to density bonus and other incentives for affordable housing and senior citizen housing. That concludes my presentation. Thanks for your consideration.
Thank you so much. Any questions? Yes, Kathy.
Can you tell us some of the additional incentives that this amendment would make?
Sure. Some of the incentives would include an extension of time from 30 to 55 years. It would also include a reduction in parking for example, senior citizen housing. It also would allow units that are removed to be replaced in kind, so that if something were being converted to a condominium, it would have to stay the same number of rooms. Those are some of the basic changes that are included.
So basically, this helped make it just a little more incentives for the affordable housing, but there's no great big changes in what we already were doing. Except for, the parking, there has to be some conditions if it's for senior citizens. We know they don't necessarily drive, some of them, that much, so it's okay to go down in parking.
That's
to
correct.
encourage the housing.
That's correct.
Okay, but so there's no big surprise. Because this was a lot of pages, and I was afraid that somewhere in here, because it's really, really small print, that there would be something that I didn't see.
It's a lot of pages.
It was a lot of pages.
You know, I have additional slides. I could go through the slides for each assembly bill if that is helpful.
No, but just, I'm asking your opinion.
It's just-
No.
Is our
I could go all
professional staff
night.
member who knows this stuff backwards and forwards, we read it. But
Right,
just
but it was
in
a
your
lot.
opinion, is there
Sure.
anything that is incredibly divisive or unusual, or anything that might be problematic for our community that we should?
In other words, just a net statement of any negatives we might be looking at.
Yeah.
No, Amber Gregg, City Planner. Thank you for letting us talk. But no, it actually allows for a couple extra incentives. Previously in the bills, you got, up to 3 incentives. This one allows a couple more incentives. But this was vetted through the Planning Commission as well, and they didn't have any concerns about any of the items on here, and they recommended it in its entirety to go forward. So just additional information.
Exceptional.
And I'm eager to hear what the public has to say, but this has been a really hard-working tool for our city, as Amber knows. The Cottons Point project, which, had an overnight wait list the moment it was announced, which is low-income senior housing. The Sarah Housing Project, the density bonus served us well there. That was another project with 75 people on a lottery for 18 units. So it's a hard-working tool, and it's really great to see that we're going to be where we need to be in terms of the update.
Okay. Steve, anything? No. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Do we have any cards on this item?
No.
We don't have any cards on this item. So what's our pleasure?
I'll move it. Did we need to open and close a public hearing or anything?
I'm sorry. I will open the public hearing. Any members of the public like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I will close the hearing, and I will entertain a motion.
Okay, and I'm going to trust that what's on the slide matches the agenda. So I move that we introduce ordinance number 1649, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of San Clemente, California, amending section 17.24070 of the San Clemente Municipal Code relating to the provision of density bonuses and other incentives for affordable housing projects and senior citizen housing developments.
Motion by Donchak, second by Schwartz. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0. Thank you so much.
Next is a report from the city manager concerning the possibility of prohibiting camping on public lands, private open space, and fire risk areas, and providing for the removal, storage, and recovery of personal property in connection therewith.
Mayor and council, we drafted this, and so the city managers looked to me and asked me if I could provide a short summary of what it's about. A few weeks ago, the city council put in play, asked us to look at a strategy that would address fire hazards arising from illegal encampments in open space and wildlife areas around the city, and this is the product of that effort. The ordinance before you makes a couple of findings. The first is a finding that you could make by looking at an aerial map of the city, and that is that San Clemente has significant urban wildlife interface. Many parts of the city are in high fire hazard areas, and a majority of them have interface with wildlands and non-urban uses. The second significant factor that gave rise to this ordinance is that San Clemente is in a semi-arid Mediterranean high fire hazard area. And so what the council asked us to do and what the city manager authorized us to do was to look around at serious fires that have occurred over the recent and near past that might have been caused by homeless encampments. And this ordinance has specific findings about that are listed on page 4. You didn't have to look very far to find fires that were created by encampments in these kinds of urban interfaces, because in just December there were 5 of them, most notably the Skirball fire north of Bel Air that was found to have been caused by a fire in an encampment in a wilderness area. So based upon those findings, this ordinance updates your municipal code to regulate and to prohibit camping, which is a term of art defined on page 5 of your packet. I'm sorry, it's 9A-10. Camping is not just falling asleep in a public area or in a wilderness area, but establishing a campsite with tents, huts, or other temporary shelters, tarpaulins, cots, beds, sleeping bags, hammocks, and cooking facilities. It's under this ordinance then illegal to have a camp in areas that are specified as higher fire hazard areas. Those areas that are mapped by FEMA as extreme fire hazard areas, and what we'll call the PICO corridor, the open space on either side of PICO as it goes from the ocean northward. This ordinance is accompanied by a resolution that's really as important as the enactment. And the resolution has to do with the provision for due process when law enforcement or the fire authority or city enforcement authority finds encampments in these areas. It's not possible constitutionally for personal belongings just to be confiscated in these circumstances, but what this resolution does is provides a process of notice and opportunity and storage for personal belongings that might have been confiscated or found in violation of this ordinance. The resolution has sliding scales for notice. There's more notice provided in the winter and in cooler and wetter times of the year. If we are in the middle of a red flag warning and the fire hazard in those areas is extremely high, then there's an expedited notice period. It compresses to take into account those exigencies created by the weather and the humidity and possibly winds. So that's in a nutshell what's before you. There's an ordinance and a resolution, as I said. The staff recommendation is that the council pass first reading of the ordinance, and then the resolution we recommend be adopted by a motion of the city council.
Thank you, Scott. Any questions?
I had one question. If the camping materials are impounded and they're going to be stored for 90 days, correct? How would the person, if they return to their site and everything is gone, is there a posting, or what's the communication between the owner of the possessions and the city?
Thanks. The answer to that is to yes, and there's a pretty thorough process that the sheriff employs to make sure that that posting remains in place. If it's raining, then it's posted with something that won't be ruined by moisture. And yes, that's what happens when you go back and it's not there. There are clear directions about how and how you can reclaim your property.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to, notate, I want to thank, our city attorney and our city staff, city manager, everyone, when I came up with the concept that we needed to do something to react and respond to all these fires that were going on. This was done for my, a little over a year in city government. This was done at the speed of light. So I appreciate that, and it's necessary. We need to be able to, at minimum, not tell everybody they have to police everything themselves, that we should allow, this gives some abilities and some actual tools to our deputies to be able to act on when there's a fire hazard, to eliminate the problem without having to worry about going through a long, drawn-out procedure. So I appreciate all this, and I really, really support it. Thank you.
I'm going to say I'm going to be in support of it. Scott, to find 6 fires just in December. We all worried this past year that whether homeless encampments or any camping where it shouldn't be would cause fires, and just this December, yes, it's proven. And we know that we do have extremely high fire danger areas, and our HOAs do such a good job trying to mitigate that, and everything that they're doing, it can't be changed by having someone camping in those open space areas, changing all of their due diligence and being careful, and have that just go up in smoke, so to speak. So I'm going to be for it. I'm glad we seem to be doing everything to make sure that everybody's rights are preserved, and that's really important. But in a high fire danger area, we don't want all of our efforts to be thwarted, so I think this is a good idea.
Yeah, prior to us taking a vote or weighing in on a straw poll, why don't we hear from members of the public prior to us doing that? And I think this would be a good time to do it, unless you have any questions for Scott, anything about that? Okay. Let's start with Cordell Nash, and following Cordell Nash is John Kopp. So, Mr. Nash? I'm sorry, maybe I'm not pronouncing it. Yeah, how can you mispronounce Nash? Cordell Nash. Nope. Okay, well, we'll just leave this right here in case Mr. Nash comes in. Mr. Kopp.
So I get 6 minutes, right?
Well, you know what? That would be something that is not true, but still, you could say that. No.
Well, thank you for hearing me again, and this is a subject I'm John Kopp, a San Clemente resident. Was pretty annoyed at what I was seeing happening to the Pico corridor. I call it the Pico watershed. Made this video. Again, I'm pushing my mural here, but this is how it starts out. This is our beautiful ocean, and we got the train going through. We got water flowing from the Pico watershed here, and this is well after the rains, and it's flowing right into the ocean. This is the height of the brush that's back there. That canyon in the lower right there was occupied. It's cleared out now. This is another camp that's currently in place right now. And those buckets, I don't want to tell you what's in them, okay? You can hardly see these places, but they're defined by the trails, okay? So here's a pretty worn out trail. And there happens to be a ton of shopping carts all over this trail. So if the stores are wondering where their carts are, this is one of the spots. This is a brand new camp, and I believe it was served notice because enforcement's aware of it. This is unreal, okay? This site was cleared out. Okay, there's a hidden bunker here in this video, and you can't see it. And there it is. This is a three-room condo cleared out.
When you say cleared out, does that mean it's gone?
It's gone.
So you're showing us pictures of things that are gone?
Before and after, that was a before and after. This is all gone, but what we found when it was being removed is a propane tank, a campfire with a grill, and a propane heater. And this is right in the middle of a canyon with tons of brush. And tomorrow is a red flag day, by the way. So, Marblehead is just tickled with my efforts. I've helped her, Kelsey, identify these sites, and there's a couple left. This is amazing, though, the transformation of this whole Pico corridor. It is really cleaned up thanks to Marblehead HOA, because they've been out there for a couple weeks now with trucks just removing stuff that's coming out of there. So I appreciate them for that.
Thank you, John. Appreciate your time.
And then just an outline of what I was saying up here just now, I can hand this to you. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, I happened to look at my email between closed and open session, and for the record, I'd like to say we received an email from Sabrina Landry in support of the ordinance, and then we received remarks from high school senior Jackson Hinkle, which I forwarded on to the city clerk, but his basic point is that there is still an obligation to not isolate the homeless population that may be living in San Clemente, and look at programs such as Housing First and opportunities to correct what's a growing situation in the city.
Thank you. So before we address that, are there any more speakers on this item? Great, thank you.
I wanted just to add, by the way, shopping carts. I saw an example on social media that they make a great grill cover for barbecues, and that they showed open flames with a shopping cart tipped over it and cooking on top of the shopping cart. So that's another reason why those are disappearing back there. So, yeah, I, again, support this completely.
So I just had one quick question, if I could, Scott, about this, and it came up when I was looking at that. How would one differentiate between what would be personal property and discarded trash? Is there a discretionary, an element of discretion that we have, or that anybody in the member public has, that say something's discarded and to throw it away versus, not? How does that work?
Yeah, believe it or not, there's a little bit of judgment involved in that, and the sheriff deputies that work in this regard are given a lot of training on making that differentiation.
Okay.
And so, yes, they're trained before they're asked to go out and make that distinction.
Okay. So one thing that, just to conclude on this item, I had the opportunity to participate with Chief Peters in a North Beach forum on the question of homelessness, and it was very informative. I was very impressed with the chief and how he handled the forum and the inquisitiveness on the behalf of our community. I think this is just one element that of an issue that we need to address, and this also needs a larger question. So I'm supportive of this measure. I think it's absolutely critical for the health and safety of our residents, but it's obvious that more needs to be done in this arena. So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that we introduce ordinance number 1650, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of San Clemente, California, adding Chapter 8.86 Camping to the San Clemente Municipal Code, Title 8 Health and Safety. And 2, that we adopt Resolution 18-01, entitled A Resolution of the City Council of the City of San Clemente, California, adopting a policy pursuant to San Clemente Municipal Code Chapter 8.86 regarding the process for removal of personal property on public lands, private open space, and fire risk areas.
Second.
Got a motion by Schwartz, second by Ward. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0.
And I think I'd like to say thank you to our code enforcement too, since Adam's here, for all the great work. We really do appreciate all your responsiveness.
Next is a report from the city attorney concerning a possible amendment to the code of the city of San Clemente relating to public peace, morals, and welfare, and offenses against public peace and decency.
Thanks, Mayor and Council. This item is kind of the other side of the coin that you just saw in providing you some really tight definitions of camping and trespass. We realized with the sheriff's help that there were certain provisions in the municipal code, especially Chapter 9.04, that described offenses against the public peace and decency that can no longer be criminalized. Even though they were quaint, we thought that in the interest of constitutional adherence and avoiding vagueness in your code, we ought to bring those before you. So it's no longer illegal to annoy, disturb, or offend someone. Generally, in San Clemente, we've scratched text that dealt with pure speech. The status crimes like just being someplace or sleeping someplace, like your car, have been removed and scrubbed from this code. So we present it to you as a nice complement to the chapter that you looked at previously, and recommend that the council introduce this ordinance for first reading.
Any questions for our city attorney? Seeing none, I will ask if there's any cards on this item. Yes, sir.
I just have, I assume this is put together with a little bit of help from Chief Peters and a few other people?
Yep, absolutely, and some good reports in case law down through the decades since it was written.
I feel like we get some benefit from this, because if I could get cited for every time I annoyed, disturbed, or bothered somebody, I would be in a lot of trouble. So I'm very grateful for this ordinance cleanup, let me tell you that.
Yeah, I was thinking it was giving some people I deal with, got them off the hook too, so.
So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that we adopt staff recommendation, introduce ordinance number 1651, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of San Clemente, California, amending San Clemente Municipal Code Title 9, Public Peace, Morals, and Welfare, Chapter 9.04, Offenses Against Public Peace and Decency, Section 9.04.010, Disorderly Conduct.
Motion by Ward. Second. Second by Schwartz. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Passes 4-0.
Next is oral communications, part 2. I don't have any cards.
Anybody like to fill this item? Okay, no?
City manager?
Yes. I'd like to call up Chief Peters to give an update on a recent fatal vehicle accident here in the city.
Good evening, Council. Mr. Mayor. A lot has been written as of late about the accident that happened, the fatal accident that happened on Sunday during Super Bowl between Estacion and Camino San Clemente. And I kind of wanted to clarify a lot of the things that are out there. Our Facebook community is a wonderful community, but they truly access their First Amendment rights and write some things that aren't necessarily the truth, unfortunately. So real quick, I'll give you a quick rundown of where we're at so far, what we know so far. The investigation is still being completed due to the fact that it was a fatality and it was a big accident. So on Sunday at approximately 16:50 hours, between North El Camino Real, between Camino San Clemente and Estacion, I'm going to address this vehicle as Vehicle 1, made the fateful decision to jump into the southbound lane, going at a high rate speed, and I know that there is some folks out there that can't believe that a vehicle can go 90-plus miles per hour, and I can promise you that our computerized equipment and skid ratios and all of those things that our accident reconstructors do can pinpoint it pretty close. I'm telling you today, the driver was going 90-plus, passing vehicles and bike riders who were traveling on that roadway at that time, driving in the southbound lanes. Vehicle 2, an Uber driver, was traveling southbound and saw, it appears that we can tell, saw that there was, the Vehicle 1 was not slowing and not changing direction. It appeared that from the way the collision happened, Vehicle 2 tried to swerve into the northbound lanes to avoid the collision. At the same time, Vehicle 1 went into that lane too. So it was a direct head-on collision. Vehicle 1, the driver of Vehicle 1 was deceased upon our arrival. Vehicle 2, the driver, the Uber driver, sustained pretty traumatic injuries and is still in the hospital and is still touch and go. The passenger in the Uber sustained several broken bones, but will walk away from this. All in all, I want to point out, because of everything that's going on in the world of Facebook, the roadway had nothing to do with this accident. The design of the roadway had nothing to do with this accident. I'm a pretty straight shooter when it comes to what the truth is, and the truth is quite simply, this accident was caused by an individual driving down the wrong side of the road at a high rate of speed, and unfortunately caused his death, as well as we're not sure about the driver of the Uber at the moment. So all in all, a tragedy. And I want to point to those folks that are friends of Vehicle 1. I'm sorry for the tragedy. Bottom line is, it wouldn't have happened if that vehicle had not been traveling 90 miles an hour down the wrong way on that street. Any other questions that you might throw my way?
Questions for the chief? Chief, there was some concern about the median and the protections provided. Did the cars cross the median into the bike lanes there? I didn't.
In that area, no, they did not cross into the bike lanes.
Oh, okay.
They did not cross. We closed the
Into
bike
slow
lanes.
bike lanes. I
We
see.
closed them during the investigation due to the mass amounts of people that would want to be there.
And also, when it's a fatality, you have to do all the accident reconstruction. How long did that take?
We didn't clear until close to midnight, from what I believe, because of all the computerized 3D reconstruction that has to take place.
They have to do the skid marks, they have to measure them. What is that, centrifugal skids? Is that only when someone goes in a circle, or is it
It
when
is,
they go
and I got to be honest with you, I am too dumb to be on that team when it comes to math.
I used to hate when
I'm not
they would
going to
talk
lie
about
about
that.
it. The amount of math and science that goes into what they do is incredible, and they can determine extremely close to the exact speed of both cars at impact, and they're extremely good at their job.
But it does take a lot of time. So we appreciate that you did close it. You know, there was a fatality there, and I think it needed to be closed so that there wasn't public. But it is unfortunate that someone chose to not wait and put everyone else's life in danger, including people that were on their bicycles in that area, just so that they could pass. So that is unfortunate, and my heart goes out to the victims. Really does. But
Yeah.
I appreciate the clarification, because what we saw on Facebook was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
And didn't seem to match the information that we had heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, matter of fact, I remember it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, Chief, I think it was prior to your time, we had a four fatality accident on El Camino Real. Were you on council for that? Laura, you were with me. You remember that? And it was actually up by here on South El Camino Real, right when you're coming to the freeway. And it was a BMW after hours, and he exceeded 100 miles an hour with 5 passengers and lost control and killed 4 of the 5 in that accident. It was very sad. Parents were from San Juan, and it was really a sad episode. But ultimately, you know, the roadway is made for a certain speed, and once you exceed it, it becomes dangerous no matter where you are, you know.
And the design of the road is not going to. The only thing, in talking to the sergeant in charge of the unit, the only thing that would have stopped it is if there was a center K-rail median down the entire roadway, so somebody couldn't cross over. And it's not the design of the road that caused this accident. It's somebody's poor decision to do that. And I want to throw this out to the rest of the general public, if I may, while I'm standing here. I've said it before, standing at this podium. I've said it in blogs, and I've said it on print media. We live in a beautiful community. Why not slow down just enough to take in everything that we have here and stop pushing the accelerator? Because these accidents are unnecessary and can be avoided if people will just follow the traffic laws. A lot of cars on the road. Our roads are meant for horse and buggy. And it is what it is, so.
I'd also like to stress your original point, which was when it comes to social media, civility and empathy are 2 really important values to bring to that media forum, because a lot of people depend on that as their source of information, and so putting bad information out there or unnecessarily harsh personal attacks really subtracts from the quality of life that we all enjoy in San Clemente.
Thank you, Chief.
Very well.
Appreciate it.
City Attorney.
Nothing for tonight, thank you.
Okay, next item is appointment of an additional council representative to the Capistrano Unified School District Liaison Committee.
By acclamation. I move by acclamation that we stick it on the guy who's not here.
I'll second that.
I agree.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Actually, I would probably need a serious deliberation. So as this, I know, yeah, I'm not being very fun tonight, but still, let's be respectful of the process. I know. Yes, that was a joke, by the way, and I did not move him by acclamation. That was a joke. So as the liaison for CUSD, I have the opportunity to meet with a number of CUSD trustees as well as the superintendent, and it is something where on the other side of the table is, the two trustees and the superintendent. So in turn, we had always had, and this is from Lori, we'd always had two representatives from council participating. And so if it is Councilmember Ham, Mayor Pro Tem Ham, or any one of the members of council, I'm open to any nominations, anyone who'd like to volunteer for it. I think it is incredibly important that we're continuing to engage with the school district, and so I'm open for whoever would like to be seated there.
I actually would volunteer for it, only because as mayor last year, I went through all of the mayor's meetings on possible school bond and the issues of the condition of our schools. So I think I could step into it probably pretty easy.
I nominate Kathy.
I second.
We have a motion by Donchak, a second by Schwartz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate your service.
And next is invitation to Senator Kamala Harris to visit the San Onofre Nuclear Generating Station.
Pull up that. We have the, can I put that in here? Copy of the letter that has been made public, right?
Actually, it was attached to.
The draft was attached to your staff report.
Was it on the, yeah, I do actually, thank you.
What was attached? It wasn't in the book, it was attached.
It was,
Wait a minute.
my revised agenda.
Look in well, you have this little clip, that's why you have the clip.
So eventually, what ended up happening, here was, this is a combined effort of staff presented a draft letter. Councilmember Donchak and myself collaborated on it, and we felt like we came up with a letter that is on point with what we're looking to do. And so unless anyone has any concerns, I'd be willing to sign this letter and send it to Senator Harris, and see if we can have her come down and take a look at what it is that is going on in town.
I just had one question. In asking her to come down, I think I saw it in one report. We're going to put that together and coordinate that if she comes down. Is that correct? You would?
I would think that at our invitation, yes, we would be collaborating with her on that.
Okay.
Okay.
That's my only question. So I don't have any issues with it.
You might want to consider from the Hedricks, I was just going to read from an email that they submitted because they apparently weren't going to be able to attend, but here they are.
Gary, if you'd like, submit a card, or just submit a card after the fact and come on up.
Yeah. Great timing. You probably could have said it better than I could, but thank you very much. And thank you so much, Council, for writing this letter on our behalf and per our request. It's a very serious issue, and we've put a lot of effort into supporting Councilmember Donchak and her request to get proper attention paid to this by our U.S. Senator. So, first of all, that's my main message, is thank you for getting to this point. And in terms of what the letter actually says, I think we've touched into areas that were never our intention to bring to the Senator's attention at this point. There's matters of what we're going to do with interim storage or permanent storage, which are very important topics, but our main concern for the immediate future is during this period of time while nuclear waste is being stored on our shores, and one of our main concerns is that our city has, not our city, but our city is not being protected by Edison's operation because there's no emergency plan in place in case something goes wrong. And there's no higher authority than the U.S. government at a federal level to intervene on our behalf. So while our thoughts and prayers and wishes are for the employees that are risking this really difficult task of moving nuclear waste, we really think that another level of protection is needed and required so that if there were an accident, there would be the kind of container that Holtec refers to. If there was a leak or a damaged canister, they would put it into a larger canister. And that is not on site. I don't even believe there's one manufactured yet. So those are the kind of issues we'd like to address early on with the senator. And the other references don't really represent our views about the legislation, which, you know, I know you're representing the entire community here, but it misrepresents and it kind of clouds the issue as far as I'm concerned, and I would really appreciate it if you could delete the letter parts that I gave to Lori Donchak, and I believe you have the stricken out letters, the words, but I have a copy, at least a printout. And this is just for simplification, and it still achieves the purpose of getting Senator Kamala Harris to come to our town and hear us and give us all a chance to express our views and concerns without clouding it up and making it maybe appear like we're in support of something that is really not accurately reflecting our concerns, like the legislation that's being considered in what was added to the letter is kind of misleading as far as what our position is. So please consider striking it out, making it simple, and we'll deal with the issues when Senator Kamala Harris is here. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Gary.
And I would also encourage San Clemente Green to prepare and send their own letter. And what's missing on this letter is a more extensive copy list, which we can talk about in a minute. But people like Senator Feinstein and so forth, we can share the final copy list with you. But I would say San Clemente Green should be an important voice in the invitation.
So, you know, all due respect to the edits, I think the only people in California that can possibly affect an outcome on federal legislative policy is our state senate, you know, our federal, excuse me, our U.S. senators, as well as our U.S. House representatives. And we really need her to buy in to the idea either of a permanent or interim storage solution, because no matter what we do, until the federal government takes action, we are stuck. And so we absolutely need her buy-in, and her Senator Feinstein's buy-in to be able to get this removed at some point. And so I think it's important that that she understand that. I would really like to retain that, as well as the idea of the consent component. You know, she may not, I'm sure her staff is aware, but she may not be aware of how that's an important part of what we're searching for. So I'd really like to keep those parts in there. I'd like to sign it.
Yeah, and the letter's from us. It's not from San Clemente Green, so I don't have an issue with us giving our position on it, and San Clemente Green is welcome to endorse the portions that they want to endorse.
All right, with that, I will sign the letter, and we'll send it off and then coordinate the visit if she's.
Can we talk about the copy list? I'd like to add Senator Feinstein to the copy list. I'd like to add Darrell Issa to the copy list. I wouldn't mind sending it to other cities in the emergency planning zone, because we'd probably include Oceanside if there were a visit, for starters.
Well, I think that's absolutely appropriate. And then also, I would like to send a copy to the community engagement panel, so they're aware of
Yep,
you know what
all
we're
right,
doing
that's
here.
good. Yep.
And the fact that we're seeking that out.
And also the current NRC chair, and I don't know their name off the top of my head, because we would like them to accompany Senator Harris. So.
Tim?
Yes.
Can we also look into, I was looking at who sponsored the legislation, ISA and Republican Conaway, who's a Republican from Texas, did the interim Consolidated Storage Act of 2015. I don't know if he's still
It
there.
was actually consolidated into the Shimkus bill.
Okay.
And so.
So is that,
It would,
that's gone? What about Feinstein and Senator Alexander from Tennessee did the Nuclear Waste Administration Act of 2015? Is that anything?
I don't know about that one particularly. I know that the particularly needs of consolidated interim storage solutions, as well as ability to transport this was addressed in the Shimkus bill.
Okay. I'm going to write that down.
And so I think if we send it to Congressman Issa as a sponsor of that bill, then I think he can probably get it out to the necessary part.
I know he was asking for support on that this past year?
Yes.
To get it, okay.
And the
So I
current-
agree, he does need to get this.
And the current NRC chairman is Christine with a K-L Svinicki, S-V-I-N-I-C-K-I.
Excellent. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So we are in council member items. These are two of those items. Anything else? Steve, did you have anything you wanted to cover in council member items? Lori?
I'd like to agendize for a meeting in March, an update look at our leaf blowing ordinance. And what's on my mind specifically as part of the, if there's agreement here, is that the staff report would include a look at what our sister communities are doing, specifically Dana Point, Newport Beach, and Laguna Beach are the three that come to mind. I'm curious about gas versus non-gas equipment. I'm curious about how we enforce, or if we have any restrictions on the use of leaf blowers. And then I'd also like to draw a line in the sand between the city's use of leaf blowers and the residents' use of leaf blowers, with the thought that maybe we start modeling the best standards at the city level and then ultimately push it out to the community.
I'm actually glad you brought that up. I was waiting because we had we get those requests all the time for this, but we had the injunction in place, so I didn't bring it up. But I think we should definitely look at LA, because if Los Angeles, as big as it is, can regulate gasoline leaf blowers, I think we could try to do it. And I do know, being on the Planning Commission, I believe it's in our sound ordinance is how we regulate that noise, but it may not be enough because I don't think people understand. It doesn't say leaf blower, and it just talks about decibels.
Okay, I'm going to change it and direct the Planning Commission to contemplate this issue, with the idea that it would come to, because that's a really good point. It should start with the Planning Commission.
Do you remember, did we discuss this at some point?
We did, and
7 years ago or
yes,
something like that.
yes. And, but I was trying to dig through the website to find.
It's a sound ordinance, that's why it's hard to find.
No,
I can't find
we
it.
chatted about it, and I'm trying to remember what the outcome.
And Tom Vonnegut was our presenter, yeah.
Tom would know on that
Yes.
one. Okay.
But things are changing, and there might even be some state legislation that we need to be current with.
Okay, I don't have any opposition vote on it, so.
Okay.
And to be clear, it would be to direct the Planning Commission to contemplate the issue along the different criteria I talked about.
Kathy, do you have anything? Okay. Lori, were you able to pull those pictures up? Okay. So I'll just chat about it a little bit here. I had a few pictures. They weren't very good anyway. So on Monday morning, I had the opportunity to go to Concordia representing the council and present a, was it a resolution? Was it a resolution? No, it was a proclamation.
Accommodation.
Accommodation, thank you. To a young man named Chase Walters, who is a student at Concordia, and he has fought leukemia for some time and has put up a heck of a good fight and beat it back, and now he's going to have to begin some other treatments. And so they had a rally for him on Monday morning, Concordia. He got a ride in a sheriff's department car with an escort by the fire department to Concordia, and I want to thank our sheriffs and our OCFA personnel for making that happen, because it was great. And
They didn't make him ride in the back with handcuffs.
no, I think he actually got to run the siren, and they tried to give him the microphone to talk a little bit. I don't know if he was comfortable yelling at people at the side of the road, so it's probably a good takeaway. But I provided accommodation to him, and it was a really great thing to be able to provide that support for him. He's blessed with an amazing family. He's blessed with a school that loves him. I want to commend Principal McCain and all of the staff who helped put that on. The whole school was filled with balloons and flyers and posters, and there were tons of parents there, and all the kids were there just as a big show of support. There is a Facebook group called I Am Chase Walters, I Will Win. And so for anyone who would like a little bit more information and progress on his fight, I recommend you to go there. And it was just a really special experience. I'm grateful for the opportunity to attend. I'm especially grateful to our city clerk who came in on Sunday to help me to get it all ready so I could take it on Monday morning. And it's moments like that that make our town feel very small and very tight and very intimate, and I just loved it. So I want to wish Chase all the best of luck in his fight, and we're all rooting for you. And it'll be great seeing him happy, healthy, and back at school. So, you know what? I don't. Was it fourth grade? Fourth grade. Yeah. So it's great. Creative, happy, bright kid. It was just really it was an amazing day.
He lives on our street.
Oh, he does?
Yes. So I did hear some of the police little whoop whoops going by, and I'm like, what is that? I didn't even know it was going on.
Yeah. They weren't
glad
messing
they
around
had
with the
you there.
siren. Like they were
No.
not sparing at all
I'm
on
sure
that. Yeah. They were letting him know that
But
somebody
he's
was
a
coming.
great kid, and he just deserves all the support, having to go through this second time, so
Agreed.
it's a great thing.
Agreed. So thanks everyone who made that happen. I think that we're in an adjournment. I'll go ahead and read the adjournment, I guess. I would like to move that we adjourn to the next regular council meeting that will be held on February 20th, 2018 in the council chambers located at 100 Avenida Presidio, San Clemente, California. Closed session items will be considered at 5 p.m. The regular business meeting will commence at 6 p.m.
Second.
Motion by Brown, second by Schwartz. All those in favor? Aye. Passes 4-0. Good night.